No matter what's going on in your life, it's not permanent. Everything is going to change. So there's two things you can do with change. You can react to it or you can participate in it. It's going to change anyway. So if you keep waiting around, you're going to have to react to the change. And now you're behind. But if you participate in the change, if you know the job you have is not going to last forever. I'm just telling you. COVID proved that already. Where you go to work at every day, that's gonna change. COVID proved that already. Your best laid plans has changed. So what you gotta start doing is you gotta start anticipating that it's going to change and just start living your life with the preparation for change. I had to learn something in adversity. This is what I learned. I often ask people, I said, how many of you all have ever had a bad day? And the audience raised their hand. How many of you all have had days where you felt like you wasn't gonna make it? And everybody raised their hand. How many of y'all have had days where you thought you just didn't know what you was gonna do? Everybody raises their hand. I said, now let me tell you something about yourself. Your track record for surviving hard days, days you wasn't gonna make it, thought you wasn't gonna make it, and insurmountable days. Your track record for surviving those days is 100%. Every bad day you've ever had, you survived. When someone closes a door in your face, all you have to remember is when God allows them to close the door in your face, all God wants you to do is walk up the hall. It's some more doors. You just got to walk up the hall. Because I can promise you, he got a better door that he wants you to go through than the one that got shut in your face. That's a fact. But when I got into comedy at 27, I had a turnback moment, man. It was the day I was going to quit. Because I had had enough, man. I was living in this car for 3 years, man. I ain't got no money. And I was going to call my mom and dad and ask them, could I come home and just stay in the attic for about 4 months till I find a job. My father told me, you can't come back home. Once you leave my daddy's house, you got to figure it out. So I knew it was gonna be hard, but they had put an answering machine in the attic for me. And so I was bathing in a hotel in Pensacola, Florida. And the way I used to bathe was, I used to go to hotels that had those bathroom doors that went floor to ceiling. I would go to real fancy, like Ritz-Carltons and stuff like that, because they had linen towels wrapped up in a basket. And I would take a bunch of them and run hot water on them, and I'd take them in the stall and shut the door, and I'd take my bag and I'd soap up. Then I would wait till the coast was clear, and I'd run out and get a bunch of more rags and soak them up and come out and wipe it off. Then I'd stand there and dry, put my clothes back on. That's how I bathed every other day, man. And so I was in there one time, and they had a convention in town. And when I got all the stuff, I soaped up. This convention let out, and men was just coming in the bathroom, and I couldn't go out, so I couldn't get the soap off. So I let the toilet seat down, and I'm sitting there, man. I just started crying. I said, man, I can't take this no more. I'm finna quit. I'm gonna go call my daddy, just ask him, can I come home, man? I can't do this no more. So before I called him, I called the answer machine, and I got a message. And it said, Steve Harvey, this is Chuck Sutton from Showtime at the Apollo. We saw a tape of you. If you would come to New York Sunday night, this was a Thursday, come to Sunday night, we're gonna put you on TV, Showtime at the Apollo. Put me on TV, that was my dream. But I had a problem. I had $25, and I couldn't get to New York. How was I gonna get to New York with $25? So I said, man, I went back in my car and I'm crying again. I said, man, God, I finally get a shot to get on TV and then I can't even go. I said, how could you do this to me? You know, I'm 30-something now, man. I've been waiting my whole life and you get me here? So I said, man, let me call this machine back and just see if he said this Sunday. And I called it back and it said, Steve, this is Chuck Sutton from Showtime at the Apollo. We saw a tape. We have an opening for you Sunday. If you could get here, give me a call, let me know. We'd love to put you on TV. I said, so I got ready to hang up, and I heard, boop, you have another message. And I punched in the code, and the message said, Steve Harvey, this is Tom Sober from the Comedy Caravan. I don't know where you are now, but but I have a gig available for you in Jacksonville, Florida to pay you $150 Friday night. If you can make the gig, let me know. I'm in Pensacola. So I called Tom Sobel. He sends me to this gig to make $150. I go the next night, I make $150, but I was so funny, the club owner said, if you stay the next night, I'll pay you another $150. I got $300. I called Chuck Sutton back at the Apollo and said, hey man, I just got this message. If you still got room for me in New York, I'll do it. He said, yeah, come on. So I went to Eastern Airlines, bought a round trip ticket for $99 from Jacksonville, Florida to New York, performed on Showtime at the Apollo, wrote the joke that made me famous. Mike Tyson hit his fighter Mitch Green in the eye and his eye started talking. And I wrote that on the way to New York. Got a standing ovation on the Apollo. I have been on television ever since that night right there. People's opinion of you is none of your business, nor should you make it yours. You get in a lot of trouble worrying about what somebody think about you, when really, what difference do it make? Whether they wrong or right, what difference do it make? The majority of people who have a negative viewpoint of you really don't even know you.